Good afternoon, and welcome to the Rush. Welcome to the Rush this afternoon. Yours truly, Randolph Critchlow here. Welcome to those persons joining us internationally in the region and right here in Guyana. Folks, let's unpack. A wonderful afternoon to all of you joining us. A wonderful afternoon to all of you. You're tuned to the Rush this afternoon. As you can see, we are going to be doing Parliament updates today. Welcome and share the live stream. Of course, as we always say to you, share the live stream. Let me ensure that you're getting us loud and clear. Yes, for those persons joining us internationally, region right here in Guyana, welcome to the Rush. For those persons who are joining us on YouTube, remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get updates when we are on. For those persons who are always joining us on our Facebook page, APNU AFC TV is here to start your Monday afternoon. Monday afternoon, of course, starting with yours truly on the Rush. Folks, let us know where you're joining us from. As usual, we do it here on the program. As you put your comments there, I will give you that shout out. But to let you know, though, that we will be talking about Parliament today. Of course, Parliament convening today for the supplementary estimate of the budget, the consideration of financial papers, financial paper number one. And that was an interesting back and forth today. And I will, of course, have some MPs joining me in a matter of minutes to talk about what happened in Parliament today. The PPP government, the fraudulent government coming, of course, to ask for 1.9 billion additional to the budgets already passed. This, of course, having to do with vaccines, having to do with defense. The police force wanted to buy motorcycles. And so a number of things we'll discuss. And, of course, bringing up some interesting constitutional matters to those persons joining us all over. Welcome. We'll have some MPs on the show. The leader of the opposition was in Berbice this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, in Manchester, Limler, Kildonan in region 6 there, in region number 5 also. We passed there, region number 6 in New Amsterdam. Interesting meeting there. We got some footage for you from that. Interesting developments coming out from some of the residents making their voice heard there about the PPP's discrimination, those persons who they perceive to be APNU AFC supporters. So we are going to be talking about all of that today. Remember, let's share the live stream, let your friends and family know that we are on. At the end of the program today, we will be introducing a new segment, Have Your Say. We'll be putting out a number that you can call us, right? Whether it be WhatsApp call or direct call, you can call and have your say this afternoon. We know many of you are in the comment section. Many of you are in the comment section venting. This is your opportunity. Call into the program today. Call into the program today. And let's hear what you have to say. It is Have Your Say Monday. That is it. We are going to be giving you an opportunity to call into the program this afternoon and have your say. Let us know what you're thinking, folks, and we'll be doing that at the end of the program. But as usual, we like to start the program with shout out to those persons from various areas. Let us see. Let's scroll back up in the comments and see where you're joining us from this afternoon. Trinidad and Tobago, Toronto is in the house. Thank you very much. Brooklyn, New York is in the house. Lots and lots of people join us from Brooklyn. We're happy to have you. Always happy to have you, Brooklyn. Welcome to the Rush this afternoon. Good afternoon, Guyana. Good afternoon from St. Lucia. Good afternoon to those persons over there in New Jersey, Forest Hill, Queens in the house. Thank you very much, folks. share the live stream. We have to get up to that magic number before we start unpacking the credible and valid information as we do here on the show. So share the live stream, let everyone know that we are ready to go. We're going to be unpacking some interesting thing about what happened at Parliament today, folks, and you don't want to miss that. It was very interesting, to say the least. It was very interesting, to say the least. But we're going to be breaking down the information, and we don't say break down on the show, we say unpack. See, I have my notes and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to start. Barbados in the house, Diamonds in the house. Wismar Linden region number 10. Wismar Linden region number 10 in the house. Let me say hi to a few persons before we get going. Let me say hi to a few persons before we get going. Those persons joining us from Suriname. Thank you very much for joining us, folks. Welcome to the Rush this afternoon. Welcome to the Rush. Folks, we're seeing the numbers, but we want you to continue to share the live stream because we want the numbers to go up before, so we can, every single body will be part of sharing the credible and valid information we are about to unpack. We don't want anyone to miss it. Good afternoon to all of the people who are looking. All of the people who are looking. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your viewership this afternoon. Folks, before we get to unpacking the credible and valid information, we have to start on a most somber note. And we learned yesterday of the passing of Mr. Douglas Gittings, who was the regional vice chair for region number 10 and APNU AFC member. And we learned that he passed from COVID-19. He got his first dose of the vaccine. And developed some conditions. So we are sending our condolences, of course, to his family and friends out there, those persons who knew him well, even those who didn't know him well, but he served his community, he served his country. And I know that his friends and his family are grieving at this moment. The APNU AFC, of course, his political family, we are also grieving, and we are really, really reeling at this loss. Quite a vibrant person, quite an energetic person, a businessman, a teacher, someone who was very involved in his community, very, very involved in his community. So it is really saddening to see a fairly young man, so to speak, in the prime of his life, so to speak, snuffed out by COVID-19. Folks, we have to, if we are not taking this thing seriously, then something is terribly wrong. We have to ensure that we take it seriously. So our thoughts and our prayers are with the family and friends of Mr. Douglas Gittings, who passed yesterday due to complications from COVID-19. And it is so interesting, folks. I had him on this show a few weeks ago when we were breaking down what is happening in Linden, and we were jokingly saying that the regional chair and the MP from that region, they were experiencing internet problems, and he was the only one that seemed to have good internet, and he stayed with us on the show. A friend of the show, someone who's always willing to speak up for people. And it is saddening today that we have to report on his demise. Folks, my heart aches today. My heart aches. I know when we went to Linden, he was always there, ready to go on the ground with everybody, ready to do what he needs to do to represent the people. So I am personally sad right now at this development. And I'm praying for his family and friends. I'm praying for the country, for our country, because we will talk about COVID-19 a little bit and the vaccine, as this was debated as part of this supplementary estimate, this $1.9 billion in the budget today. COVID-19 vaccines were what was a major topic today. and the Minister of Health answered a number of questions, a number of pertinent questions put by the opposition MPs on vaccines and the procurement of vaccines and other issues related to COVID-19. Quite a healthy debate in Parliament there, and we will talk about that. We'll have Mr. Ganesh Maipal, Mr. Sher Duncan, who will join us a little later, as they were asking some interesting questions on the vaccine. Folks, we have a number of other things developing. Let us keep the family and friends of Mr. Douglas Gittins in our thoughts. Sad, very sad. Folks, as we speak, we're getting some more breaking news about what happened in Parliament. Government Minister Gail Teixeira revealed that Parliament that the PPP has secretly bought a 2 heavy capacity boat. This is after President Ali recently stumbled off the GDF Coast Guard vessel and nearly fell over. These are questions asked by the leader of the opposition earlier in Parliament there about the procurement of this $2.3 billion vessel that nobody knew about. It is now coming up in this supplementary budget. So we're going to talk about that and some other budgetary issues as we go down in the program. We have some other things to share with you. But first, I want to let us understand something, folks. This flood situation hasn't gone away. Sometimes we run the risk of forgetting that something is happening because it has died down in the media, and it has stopped getting the front page attention. But people's lives are still at risk. People's livelihood, they're still at risk. People still don't know how they are going to feed their families because their farmlands have been devastated. It is underwater. The homes are underwater in many parts of the country. So do not let us forget that it is still happening to those persons. And we recently got a picture. I'm going to try and bring that picture in for you of what is happening in Region 7 as we speak. I do not want us to believe that the water somehow, yesterday we spoke to a representative from Region number 8, and he shared with us that the fact that this water isn't receding at any particular pace, and people are still suffering, and there is still a haphazard way, an ad hoc manner, so to speak, of distribution of supplies. And it seems as though we're continuing to stumble along the road as it relates to flood relief in this country. I want to share a picture for you. This is from the regional vice chair of region number 7, Ms. Kamla Prasad, who shared some pictures recently on social media. Let me see if I can bring them up for you. And it is quite interesting as to what is happening there in region number 7. We saw region number 8 yesterday. This is what is happening in region number 7, folks. This situation isn't going away. This situation hasn't gone away. Flood affected the middle Mazaruni, region number 7. That is water close to people's roofs in some cases. These persons need urgent. These persons are in dire need of assistance. This is region number 7. Yesterday, we spoke about what is happening in region number 8. We spoke about what is happening in region number 8. This is happening in region number 7. And I want to, it's not belaboring the point, but I want to ensure that people understand what is happening around the regions. Folks, let us keep our eyes open. I want to bring in now one of the MPs. We're going to go live to the Arthur Conference Center where the Parliament is in session. Well, they're in a little break right now, but they have been debating and questioning the consideration of financial paper number 1, supplementary estimates of $1.9 billion brought by this fraudulent administration. Or we're going to go straight to Parliament now. Sorry. We're going to go straight to Parliament now, and we're going to talk with one of the MPs. Let me see who we have online here to bring to you. Mr. Ricky Ramsarup. I keep mixing him up with Rampasal. Ramsarup, member of Parliament for the APNU AFC member, that is to be specific, and we'll bring him in. And I know Ricky was on the ground this weekend in the flood affected area, so maybe we can have him talk about that also. Ricky, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Randy. Nice to be here with you again.
Thank you very much for joining the rush this afternoon.
That's right. That's right. We have to rush at everything right now.
Right. It is a rush because we are in a crisis, Ricky. This country is in a crisis, as proclaimed by the CDC, as also proclaimed by the president. It is a natural disaster, but somehow the response by this fraudulent government, you wouldn't think that we're in a crisis, because region number 8 yesterday, as I was alluding to, they're saying that they're seeing little to no efforts in their region to bring aid to the people. We're seeing what is happening in region number 7. And I know you were on the ground in some flood-affected areas yesterday. Tell us about that.
So, Randy, yes. And first, before I go to where I went, you have to understand last Thursday, we brought a motion to Parliament where the motion was to set this flooding as a national disaster. And the Speaker shoot it down as saying it's not a national disaster, and was voted out. Now, and you know that.
He said he claimed that is where urgent. He said it wasn't urgent.
It was not of urgent importance. Correct.
Urgent.
Correct. It was, but yet we could have said it's a national disaster too. But their philosophy of national disaster is to get funding from overseas. And I've learned that the European Union is always coming in with some money. Now, we don't have a problem with that. What we have a problem is that you're not distributing the money equitable.
Yeah.
And that is what we have to talk about, because the flooding affecting, you just talked about region 7, region 8. I went to region 10. I went to region 5 in Maikoni. We went to region 6 2 weeks ago. No, look, this is what's happening countrywide, but you cannot come here and saying you want international money. What are you using it for?
Yes.
You're coming here now, you say you want $10 billion. We don't have an issue with $10 billion. It should have been $20 billion.
Yeah.
Because this is a national disaster. What are you going to do with $10 billion? That is our question. What are you going to use the $10 billion for?
Yeah. Because
many of the flood areas I went to, people are still complaining about medical supply. They don't have simple, the only Panadol they have. Maikoni Hospital only have Panadol. And I have video to show you that. So you have to come, and you should have doubled that money because it's a national disaster.
Yeah.
I went to Araima, and it's a very sad, Randy, because the people there, anyway, you turn is water. And I was walking on the main road, and I thought it was a waterfalls. So you can imagine the force and the amount of water that is there. You finally get to, when you're on the ground, you finally get to understand people hustle for drinking water in a land of many water. Imagine that, because the well was covered. And then if you use that water, you have to treat it. So just imagine that people don't have access to drinking water. And people are also concerned that if they can't have access to simple medical aid, what's going to happen when the water is removed? Because you have to talk about waterborne diseases like the leptospirosis, the cholera, those things. We have to start thinking about that. So I thought that in the supplemental that we are dealing with here now today, supplemental 1, under the Ministry of Health, we asked a ton load of questions which some are not being cleared. And the questions are related only directly to vaccination. You know, we have learned that even though the Minister of Health clearly stated that the Sputnik did not went through is now through the process to go on a list of the WHO, like the AstraZeneca and the other vaccines that we have. Why are you going to purchase so much of the Sputnik vaccine? I know the efficacy is high, the rating is high, but as he said, and he said that, you can go back to the answer and check it. He said that the vaccine is still in a process to go on the list that the WHO have, like the way they did to AstraZeneca.
Yeah.
It didn't went complete the fully stage of testing, but the WHO put it on a list that you can use it. And that list, the Sputnik has not gone through the process as yet. So what is your judgment? What is your thinking, or how did you make that decision, or what factor you used to make that decision? Those are the questions that he has to answer. And because
we learned from Dr. Van Mischels that a number of the vaccines, they are not on the WHO list of approved vaccines. And as the minister said in Parliament, they are now applying to the European Union Health Board for them to approve this for use in the EU. So, you know, a lot of questions have to be asked. Again, saying that this is not to discourage anyone from taking the vaccine. Taking the vaccine is very important.
Randy, we have to make it quite clear. We are not discouraging anybody from the vaccine, but we have to ask the question. You understand me? We are encouraging everybody to take the shots. You have to take the shot. COVID is real. COVID is real. You have to take the shot. And the quicker you can take it, is better for you. Because I am now recommending some site on the coast where people can go and take the vaccine for the regional office. But we still have to ask the question, because you're making some decision by yourself, because up to now the opposition doesn't find a seat on the task force. Yes, he's saying at the regional level, but all region chairman is on that task force. That is not your answer. We should have people like Dr. Karen Cummins on that task force. You understand? We should have some economists on the task force, because we're questioning the spending of the vaccine that he's going to purchase. The price that he says paying is double what is the recommended price by the WHO. You understand me? So we have to question the source of where he's getting it from. He's saying that there's a shortage, but he didn't say why there was a shortage. Let me tell you why there's a shortage. Countries, of first-class countries, purchase vaccine 5 times of what they required. So you're going to have shortage. You understand?
Yes.
So you have to use a bilateral agreement and so on to get some of the vaccine. You don't have to always purchase it. So Randy, so it's really ticklish, and it's really disturbed that these are the paper one is the money that's already spent. So we're asking how it was spent and where it was spent. And this, it's keep going like that.
So I mean, let's get back to I mean, we heard a lot of questions on the vaccine and the spending. I will ask Mr. Maipaul this, but you can comment on it as you're here. The MP Maipaul commented on the fact that there was no disaggregation in terms of the monies. It was purchase of vaccine rollout activities, and supply of vaccine. It's as if they made up these three legends, these headings, to just to put it on the paper. And the minister got up and said, well, we spent X amount of money on the first set, X amount of money on the second set, and that's the total amount of money. So why are you putting vaccine rollout activities as an item there, and there's no money, you're not allocating any money to it?
Well, that is what we're talking. When they put it in the lump sum is where you have to get worried. And that is the reason why we are asking so many questions. We spend about 2 hours alone on him, approximately, because you're not coming specifically what you're doing. And we believe in transparency, and that is what we do as opposition. We are going to ask you the question. We are going to strip you of every single item that we can. You understand? You can't just jumble it together. And this is what I find this current senior minister within the Minister of, let me get it right, the senior Minister of Finance within the Ministry of the Presidency.
Yes.
Right. Because I'm confused. Even my children home are confused who is really the Minister of Finance up to now.
Yes.
So, So you have to, when they jumble it together, it's very difficult to understand what they're using for. So we have to question it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So we're hoping that when the Auditor General ready to do his report, that he can ask those questions, or the PSC. You understand? To ask those questions, and that is what we want, and that is why the reason why they want to remove David Patterson there. They know why they want to remove David Patterson there.
Yeah. As we talk, one of the things you brought up just now was this fact that they have overpaid, so to speak, by some 130% for the COVID vaccine. World Health Organization quoted prices for Sputnik V at $2,000, 2,000 Guyana dollars for vaccine. The BP paid $4,758 for vaccine. And these are the questions that I hope that you guys are asking. Why is it that we're overpaying for these vaccines?
Yes, indeed we did ask those questions, and it's recorded in the Hansard.
Yeah.
And they give some gymnastic answers, how it goes already. So just to defend the political answers. We don't need political answers. What we need is the honest answer. How you do. But when they have things to hide, then they'll come with the political answer. And you notice that Minister of Finance, the senior Minister of Finance, he always comes like that. Whenever he can't answer the questions, he comes with you with a political answer.
Right.
And he's been doing that all the time.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much, MP. We hope that you continue to represent well and be a friend of the show. Don't be afraid to come in a rush. To come in the rush.
That's why we do. We're rushing because we're rushing all over. We get
Right.
COVID increases. We have the flooding. We heard the Sahara dust is coming here. We don't know what else is coming. So we're in a rush. Our work more in the opposition is much harder than the one that they are sitting on. They're smiling and laughing.
Yeah. Thank you
But we
very
got to
much.
take it seriously because we are concerned about the people. Thank you, Randy.
Yes, thank you very much, MP. You were listening there to MP Ricky Ramsarup, of course, a member of Parliament, talking about what has happened there today in Parliament. We are going to continue talking to some MPs as we go down the show. We want to, of course, speak about questions from Ms. Gita Chandan Edmonds. We want to also talk to Mr. Ganesh Maipal, who asked a question about the spending and where this money is going. We also want to speak to Mrs. Sherry Duncan and persons who made presentations in and asked questions. So I am going to continue until we get those persons. All right, so some of those MPs are in committee meetings, I'm being told right now by my team there on the ground. We are going to wait until we get them. But folks, let's continue. On Sunday and Saturday, the leader of the opposition visited region number 6. And one thing was very clear, that those villages and communities that were perceived to be APNU AFC, they are being sidelined. They are being sidelined, right? So, and there's a video that we're going to show you on the other side of this interview, because we're going to be speaking with Mr. Ganesh Maipal right now. And I'm interested to ask him some questions because he grilled the Minister of Health on this issue. Remember, we are speaking about what is happening there in Parliament as the questions, the consideration of the estimates of financial papers. Sorry, number one, supplementary estimate of $1.9 billion, 1.9 additional billion dollars that the PPP has now come to basically seek permission to spend, and we're going to talk about that. But let's welcome Mr. Ganesh Maipal to the Rush this afternoon. MP Maipal, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Randy. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for being here. Quick, let me say quickly, because I want you to take your time and deal with this. I know you asked some pertinent questions today, and I was listening and making some notes. Quite interesting. Tell me about and I'm going to go straight to the point or the bane of your contention today with the Minister of Health. This disaggregation of the money that they put down on the paper. You put down a lump sum of money, and then you say these monies are for 3 different things. I think it was purchasing, vaccine rollout activities, and then supplies or something like that. But the minister couldn't give you an answer as to how much is going or should go to those three different areas. Tell us, expand on that, and give the viewers an idea of what that exchange was about.
All right. First of all, let me say that the APNU AFC, the coalition, believes strongly that everybody should get vaccinated. We have always had that position, and we have always said that persons should familiarize themselves with the vaccines and they should feel comfortable with the vaccines that they want to take. We don't support forcing persons to take the vaccines because persons may have their own reasons, medical or otherwise, that is causing them to make a decision not to take the vaccines. But there are many persons who have taken the vaccines and they have not been any case, at least not as yet, of anyone who died after taking the vaccines of COVID-19. Secondly, I want to say that the Minister of Health is clueless. He is clueless as to what is happening in his ministry, and he has a series of advisors with him. Berry Ramsaran, who served as a former minister, Leslie Ramsamy, who served as a former minister, Dr. Vishwa Mahadio is there with him also, and of course himself. And they seem clueless because every time you ask a question expecting an answer, they beat around the bush, they gerrymander, and they try their best to see how they can manipulate and circumvent and play politics. When it comes to COVID-19, there is no politics there other than you providing information to the nation, and persons will be able to make their informed decision. But when you have a minister that stands up in the National Assembly and talk about how many persons were being tested before August 2nd and how you were handling COVID-19, the facts are there and the people can check it out for themselves. August 2nd, we had 20 something deaths after COVID hit Guyana in March. And there were no heavy outbreak in our country. And that is because the coalition was handling the COVID pandemic in a more strategic and well-planned, organized manner. But you have a PPP administration. To date, we have 400 and something deaths. The one that struck me the most recently was the vice chairman of Region 10. And this PPP has no control over COVID-19. And in my humble estimation, it will only get worse under the People's Progressive Party because they seem not to be bothered as to how many people die or what causes them to die or what causes them to get COVID-19. The minister said in his remarks column for the money that he is requesting that it is to cater for the payment of vaccines and also it caters for the vaccine rollout plans. But he did not provide us with the answer as to which part of that money will be used for the vaccine rollout. Instead, he said that the monies that were already there, provided for in 2021, is what is going to be used for that operation. There's a few critical points that one must take into consideration when they're looking at COVID-19 and the Guyana situation. The first is the minister and the ministry has no control over the task force that is dealing with COVID-19 and the environment in which COVID-19 can be promoted. The ministry has absolutely no say because it's dictatorship from the top. Whatever Bharat Jagdeo says, that is what they have to go with. And you see that in the manner in which they answer the questions. Not only the Minister of Health, look at how the Minister of Home Affairs answered his questions. Look at how the Minister of Governance answered her questions. These people are clueless, Randy. They are simply clueless, and they only come to present what Jagdeo tells them to present. That is how I see it.
All right. So let me go here because I'm happy that you did answer the question. You didn't filibuster me. The I want to take a share because there's a narrative being developed, and I'm happy that you addressed at the beginning that the APNU AFC have always supported the fact that people must get vaccinated and to save our people, to protect our people. Because there's a narrative being pushed out there that because we are asking questions, whether it's of the vaccine or the price or whatever, questions, legitimate questions that you have to ask as the opposition, as people looking out for your representatives of the people, that somehow you're not in favor of this, or you're anti-vaxxers or something by asking these questions in parliament. And I want you to talk about that as I pull up a post by Priya Manik Chand. But I can allow you to talk about that, this narrative being pushed by in the PPP circles.
Well, Randy, first of all, Priya Manik Chan is a loose Creole fowl. That's how I could best put it. And she seems to be scratching in all different dirt, searching for what, I don't know. She is an attention seeker, if one is to put it that way. The facts of the matter are, first of all, budget was passed in March. March 4 is when budget was passed. And these people spent from the contingency fund $1.9 billion or thereabout. From April, they started to do it 1 month after budget was passed. That has to raise a degree of questions. How can you go into the contingency fund catering for special needs in terms of finances, and 1 month before you had a national budget that was passed that you boasted as the largest budget ever in the history of this country? And then 1 month after, you're going for $1.9 billion, and then you come with a supplementary paper in June. This month is June. April, May, June, 3 months after, you come for a supplementary you come with a supplementary paper for 24, 23, somewhere there about $billion. You got to be crazy. We cannot allow the People's Progressive Party to come to the National Assembly and get the money that they want without proper scrutiny. We are elected by the people of this country to represent their interests, and we're elected to protect the contingency and consolidated funds. And we have to ensure that we scrutinize, and we have to ensure that we get answers as to why they are collecting those sums of monies. And one can assume that all of this is related to them providing resources, paying their friends and families that helped them in the fraudulent election we had. And they are now giving back state money, taxpayers' money, to their friends, families, and business partners. You cannot escape that assumption, because it's difficult to comprehend how, after March, with a budget of $383.1 billion, 3 months after, you're talking about wanting 20-something billion dollars more. And 1 month after, you already spent $1.2 billion, $1.9 billion more. But I am not bothered by Priya Manik Chan, who's an attention seeker. I'm not bothered.
As we say that, Ganesh, I want you to see the exact comment that she made. Again, this is in response to the scrutiny that you are talking about in Parliament, where she is saying here, she's sitting in disbelief as the opposition hurls continued ignorant doubt about the efficacy of the vaccine in the fight against COVID-19 and questioning whether Guyana paid too much. That is your responsibility as parliamentarians to question the spending. Again, this goes to their wanton disregard for transparency. She is saying that you're questioning whether Guyana paid too much. And of course, she goes on to say, few things like, here's the gangsterism, that the hypocrites all took the vaccine and now quietly encouraging people not to. And this again is completely
And that is
false.
untruthful. It's very
Yes.
untruthful. But I told you, Priya Manichan, in my view, is a loose Creole fowl, and she's scratching all over. Let her continue to scratch, and whatever she's looking for, I hope to God she finds it.
Yeah, quite sad. Ganesh, thank you very much. I want to ask you one other question though, because I don't know if we'll get the other MP, so maybe you can give us some response on it. When it came to the consideration of the language dealt with the Guyana police force and the requisition of these motorcycles, quite interesting, and I like to pick up on these details. Ms. Gita Shannon Edmonds said that how is it buying of these motorcycles was deemed urgent or deemed unforeseen?
The answer
when
to
you
that
had two
is very
budgets?
simple. Randy, the answer to that is very simple. They have bought the motorcycles because there's an upsurge in crime.
You didn't want
And
to admit that.
they're hoping to reduce it by having more police, men and women, patrol our land. But they don't want to accept that there's an upsurge in crime. And regardless of whether they accept it or not, the facts are there and people are seeing what is happening. Why would you buy these motorcycles if there was not an upsurge or there is not an upsurge in crime? We have to put two and two together. And what caused you to categorize it as urgent? I don't know. I really don't know what these people are doing and what game they're playing. But the Guyanese people, they have to judge for themselves. I always say we are an educated nation, and our people are thinkers. Our people are brilliant, and our people have the ability to decipher stupidity and ignorance from facts. And what we have is a bunch of lunatics on the People's Progressive Party side that is trying to misguide and mislead the nation. They will not succeed with that because this is not 10, 15, 20 years back. This is 2021, the year of technology and the year when everyone has information at their disposal, and they shall not be fooled. They were fooled before by the People's Progressive Party, and they are People's Progressive Party is trying to fool them again, but they will not succeed. What the People's Progressive Party is afraid of is that the coalition enjoys a larger amount of supporters than them. And they know that. We cannot escape the fact that these people are riggers. They are fraudsters. They are thieves. We cannot escape that. They got into power on fraudulent votes, 49 ballot boxes without statutory documents to verify the votes in those boxes. Dead people's names were ticked off on the official list of electors as voters. Migrants who did not return to this country voted. Missing oaths of identity, unsigned oaths of identity. They stole an election. They are thieves. They are riggers and they are fraudsters. Thank you very much, Randy.
Thank you very much, Ganesh, for that very complete description of the PPP. I know you have to get back to the business of the house. I'll let you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, that was Mr. Ganesh Maipal there. Of course, no, you always enjoy Ganesh. You know, you always enjoy his the way he expresses himself. And we want to thank him for coming and sharing, folks. That is what is happening at Parliament. We have lots and lots to unpack again today out of what happened there. $1.9 billion after a few months after passing what they deemed as the largest budget. They have now come to ask for 1.9 billion and afraid of the questions being asked by the opposition. You put money in there for vaccine and the purchase of vaccine. I know I was making some notes and turning the questions that you have to answer. You're hiding from transparency behind the veil of vaccination. Yes, we want people to be vaccinated, but it is not a cake shop. It is not a dolly house. You have to account for the monies that you are spending. The people of Guyana must know that you are making the right decision. Yes, the right decision is the one that will save people's life. Yes, we want a vaccine, but we want you to get the right vaccine. We want you to ensure that you're not, monies are not going to people who they're not supposed to go to. The Minister of Security, Home Affairs came and he couldn't tell you whether or not the tender board approved this sole sourcing that they did for these motorcycles, millions of dollars. He can't tell you if the cabinet met and they gave their approval for this. He said he doesn't know. When MP Gita asked him whether he knew he was in contravention of the Constitution, he said he doesn't know. But he's not willing to admit. This is what we're dealing with. These are our leaders. Every day, every single day, and every time we have, and this is probably the reason why they don't want to convene parliament. Because it exposes who they are and what they are doing with your money. Every single day, every time we have a parliament, the questions that are being asked, they are afraid of transparency. It's not their watchword. They don't want that. As I always say, it is the economics of corruption. It is the economics of corruption. The PPP majors in that. They majored in it at college. Economics of corruption. What else will you get when you have such a corrupt individual as the fraudulent vice president, as the lead economist apparently? He's the lead economist. Corrupt as he is. Folks, as I was about to say earlier, we were in Berbice this weekend, and I want to share with you one particular video which really captures the experience of those persons living in communities and villages deemed to be supportive of the APNU AFC. I want you to understand their experience. 316 days of this administration. Let me share with you one story, and you'll understand how the people are being treated by this fraudulent administration. Discriminated against. This is from region number 6.
Or he's a murderer. So they got investigated.
Let me go.
The other point of it, I was being discriminated by the PPP for the 25,000 free money that they giving. They never give us the money. When my husband went to Freedom House, it's like when you go in a bed. You got to walk with a calabash and cook them booby. You got a calabash and booby. On the third day, they said they got investigating how long for no need to sell dope for drugs. Or he's a murderer. So they got investigating before Miss Sherry and Bihari. I am not scared they got killed me another day. No need. Because no use to tag the story and you call the person name who discriminating you.
That's right. Yeah.
She's the chairperson for Kanji, Good Banana Land. And she's a little pig, but she's a big fat one. I don't know why she had to discriminate us like that. Number 2, yeah, I don't want to hear. She take away the man public assistance book. I don't know if she man or This is since the 4th of March and I still waiting. I called the office with Ms. Benji Prasad and they told me they're going to investigate. What are they going to investigate? We are Ghanaians, we paying tax. As a woman stand up here and I work for $20 and a bunch of water. My husband is a heart patient. I didn't go and buy the certificate and carry it to Miss Sherry and Bihari. I get it from Yontaran Public Hospital. Why under the coalition government we receive that public assistance money and now we can't get it? And they don't have drugs at the hospital. They don't have nothing at the hospital that will be for you. And when you go to the hospital as a heart patient, they call you back next 3 months. So what you're going to use for the next 3 months, we, the coalition in Region 6, are polishing under the PPP, and we are victimizing under it. Thank you very much.
Right. The woman said we, the coalition in Region 6, punishing under the PPP. I hope you hear. I hope you hear. These are people who are being discriminated against. Punishing under the PPP. The woman said the public assistance that they used to get your husband is a heart patient. I don't know if you heard, but I'll let you know what she was saying. The public assistance that they were getting under the APNU AFC, the PPP take it away. Maybe because she come from an area that is vote APNU AFC. She said she go to Ms. Vindhya Prasad and the people, and they get she running wrong. The man get a certificate from the hospital saying that he's a heart patient and he qualifies for this public assistance. They take it away. This is what is happening around the region, people, around the country. This is not an isolated case. Every single region that you visit, these are the stories that you're hearing. Horror stories about the actions of the PPP. This woman, she said they can't get the 25,000 free money. Her word, she said going to Freedom House is like going and beg, you gotta go with your bowl. Take away the public assistance from the woman. You won't give she the 25,000. Why? Is it that she came from a community that supports the APNU AFC? Is that the case? Ms. Vindhya Prasad needs to tell us why. But they could jaunt around the country and mama guide themselves about one Guyana. The president could amble around. The presidents could amble around and pretend like he's sending some message about oneness. And minister after minister, agency after agency, government body after government body, discriminating against persons who are perceived to be APNU AFC supporters. And you look at it, ain't got nothing to do with black and Indian. This is an Indian woman talking. But at the beginning of our speech, she said she will always be a APNU AFC. And maybe this is why she didn't get your public assistance for your husband. This is the fraudulent administration that we're saddled with. This is what we have to deal with. 316 days of confusion powder. Only a matter of time, folks. Only a matter of time. But we have seen this in every single region. You go to region number 10, you go to region number 7, you go to region number 2, number 3. We're in region number 3. The people in Port Joint said they passed them. They passed them. Huh? Mr. Harmon come from that village, so we ain't got time with that. The PPP ain't got time with that. The people in Ithaca. The people in Ithaca said, listen, they come and they look at face, and I have some videos that I'll play on tomorrow's program. From those villages and Borbies, those villages that are perceived to be APNU AFC villages where there's clear discrimination. We have videos. We line them up and play them tomorrow because we have to talk about this issue. There is a woman telling her story. She said, we punishing under the PPP. Punishing. Oh. She fed up. She tired. We punishing. Coalition supporters said punishing. And these are the people who are claiming that they are for all Guyanese. What a farce. What a joke. President Ali running about. Running about. Ambling about. I can't say running. He ambling about. I doubt that he could run. Ambling about, telling people about one Guyana. And they're discriminating against people. Folks, this is the part of the show we'll give you an opportunity to call in and air your views. As I said earlier in the program, we're going to be introducing a new segment called Have Your Say. We want to give you an opportunity to call into the program and have your say. So let's get right into that. We'll put a number on the screen. Right. Now we know many of you are keyboard warriors. You're home and you have an issue, you have a problem, it's burning you. You want to say something. Well, we'll give you an opportunity every Monday afternoon to have your say. 618-7321. 618-7321. Give us a call, have your say. You have about 1 minute. You know, we want to give everybody an opportunity, so keep your comments nice and short. Remember, we wouldn't be answering your call if you call from a block number because we want to know who you are. So you don't think you can call in and make mischief and we now know for find your number. And we'll expose your number, let other people call you if you call in. Right. Good afternoon. You on to the rush?
Hello?
Good afternoon. You're on to the rush.
Good afternoon. I'm a resident from East Ranville area.
East Ranville. Have your say, ma'am. Have your say.
And it will give out contract and all these stuff left up top here. So all these stuff left here.
Where is that again?
Right by the Lane Avenue side, the clean up the place and all the rubbish left in front of people's place.
Lane Avenue. Let me make some notes on that, my dear. Lane Avenue. All right. Thank you very much.
Right by the Trent corner when you come across the bridge.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, my dear.
Yes.
All right, so we have an issue in Lane Avenue. Folks, this is an opportunity, a few minutes for you to have your say on the show. Right. Give us a call. 618-7321. Don't be afraid to have your say, you know. This is your time. I know you've been watching the show. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to Rush. Welcome to the Rush. Have your say.
Yes, good afternoon. My question is that I want you all to come when you see the PPP doing these things. I want you all to do more. Come out. Get a couple people, y'all come out, and if y'all gotta get 3 placards or 4 placards, come out there and say something. Show your support, show what y'all could do so that you not agree with what they are doing. Yeah. I want y'all, what cat is looking like everybody saying that y'all are not doing anything, y'all are doing nothing. Come out and show what y'all could do.
Well, thank you very much for that, my dear. Right, folks, we've been hearing this. And as I always say to people, the opposition in Guyana is in a precarious position, right? You either talk or you protest. And, you know, many persons have been calling for protests. Many persons have been calling for protests, so we hear you. And I'm sure that message will be relayed to the leader of the opposition and those powers that be. We hear that cry. Good afternoon and welcome to the Rush. Have your say. Hold on. Go ahead.
President, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
I want to ask a question. Do the opposition have to go to Parliament? So I have to go to sit down to listen to all this nonsense that you doing?
If we have to go to Parliament, the opposition,
Yeah.
then you don't have to, you know. Let me, I'll answer your question off here. Let me answer, I'll cut off and I'll answer you. Right. So the question that the man is asking if the opposition has to go to Parliament. In many occasions, the opposition abstain because they protest what is happening in Parliament and they don't go. The reality is, my friend, for example, today, you would not know that the PPP are doing certain things if the opposition doesn't go and expose it. So it is good to say why are we going to Parliament, why are we going to Parliament, don't go. But if we don't go, if the opposition MPs don't go and scrutinize the stuff that the PPP are bringing to the Parliament, then I wouldn't have been able to tell you this afternoon that the minister brought things and they really know what they bring, or we wouldn't be able to know that they spent more than they were supposed to spend on the vaccine. These are important things that need to be highlighted. And those questions are asked in Parliament, right? It is only when you are able to ask the questions of the MPs in Parliament that you get the response, then you realize that the people are doing stupidness. Yes, I understand. And the situation in Guyana is that we have an opposition that is deemed impotent, so to speak, just because the other side won one more seat. We have a flawed system. It is a flawed system because you cannot have an opposition that represents half of the population and has zero say. So that's a problem that we need to address. But I still think there's a necessity for us to go to Parliament. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Rush. Have your say.
Yes, I understand what you just say, but you're still in Parliament and you're still getting the right answers.
Yeah. Well,
they're still beating among the bush with y'all, to make y'all look small, but y'all stay away.
I understand your position, but I don't see a problem if they go and try and expose these things.
I understand your position.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Rush. Have your say. You have your device on that you're looking at the program from.
Yeah, sorry. I want to know when last weekend you come out of power, I forget about it.
All right. So, well, you probably need to buy some data and get some internet so you can go on Google and find out. If you want, we can send you some data. But folks, let's go. We're going to be wrapping up soon. So if you want to have your say this afternoon, give us a call. Remember, we won't be answering any unknown number. You know what the song say? We not answer no unknown number. Now pick it up if it's a private call. We want to know who is calling us, so we can call you back. We don't play. We don't roll like that. We can call you back. We have your number. We have your name. We have your address. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Rush. Have your say.
Good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon.
I don't think the APNE should appear in Parliament.
Tell me why you feel so.
Because it doesn't make sense. When you go to Parliament, at the end of the day, they just want you there to show up for them to look good.
Well, your job is to make them not look good when you go. Your job is to question the stupidness that they're doing, expose it to the Guyanese. Remember, Parliament is live streamed to all over the world, you know. If you don't go, they will stand up in there and read all these nice things and make it look like if they're doing good. Your job is to go there and expose the foolishness that they're doing. So everybody looking at the live stream of Parliament will say, yeah, well, yes, if the opposition went there, we wouldn't know this. Do you think that they will expose themselves? They wouldn't. You have to go and stand up in Parliament and call them out. Even if you don't have a say in terms of the voting numbers, you have a job. You have a job to do to represent the people. So I understand the people's frustration. And this frustration is not one side, you know. When we were in power and we had our one-seat majority, the other side used to feel like, what are we going to Parliament for? It is a flawed system. You have to now find ways to expose them, even though you don't really have a say. I hope people understand that.
I understand, but another point I'm trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at Guyana, I am ashamed to be a Guyanese. I am ashamed because I used to believe that the Constitution is the highest law of the land, and that day is what guide our behavior, attitude, and everything.
Yep.
And when I look at the Constitution being trampled upon, it's painful.
Yes.
If you cannot follow the basic rules in the Constitution and the laws, where are we?
Where are we?
Wasting our time.
Where are we?
You understand? It's embarrassing. You cannot even speak to any other country. You cannot even stop. It's a shameful. People watch us as a laughing stock. Guyanese are stupid people. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Guyanese are stupid. We can't stand up at no point in time, you know, and represent what we believe. It's a shameful situation.
Yeah. And I know, for example, today when MP Gita Chandon Edmonds asked the Minister of Security whether he knows or not that he's going against the Constitution, they bought bikes to the Guyana Police Force, sole source it. He can't say whether or not the cabinet approved the sole sourcing. And this is what we have. Again, if Gita was not in Parliament, he would have get up and said, look, we buy these bikes, nobody to question it, we pass. So I understand what you're saying, when we just have to continue fighting, my dear.
Yes, we have to continue the fight.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Right, folks, we're going to give you a couple more minutes. Now is 6:46. We'll go a few more minutes of have you say, because I want to hear from you. I want to know what are your thoughts. What are your thoughts? And I guess we're talking about Parliament today. But there are many other topics and many other things happening in our country. We have COVID, we have the flooding, we have so many things. You have your say this afternoon. And folks, remember, as I said, if you're going to call in, don't hide your number. If you hide your number, you're not going to answer you. Plus, why you don't hide your number? If you want to say something, be proud, say it with your chest. If you want to call in and say something, say it with your chest, don't hide. Right? Let me see your number so we can call you back and give you a piece of we mind too. Folks, we're having a little fun this afternoon, but it is quite serious, We have the lines open, 618-7321, 618-7321. You can also get us on WhatsApp, that number too. If you have questions you want us to answer in subsequent shows, you can WhatsApp your questions to that number, 618-7321, 7321. All right, 87321. Get us on that number. WhatsApp, it is available on WhatsApp also. So you can send us information. If you have information, pictures, videos, anything that you want to share with the Rush, let us know on that number. Be not afraid. All of your information will be kept private, confidential. Give us your anonymous tip. Let us know what's happening in your region and so that what's happening in your community, like the lady that called about Lane Avenue. We thank you for highlighting that for us. We'll get our councillors and our party representatives to that area on that matter. Good afternoon and welcome to the Rush. Have your say. Okay, that person wasn't ready. They're probably testing out the number or the out of credit. I don't know. Right? But let us know what is happening in your community. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood. If you have any information to share with us, use this same number. Good afternoon and welcome to the Rush. Have your say.
Yes, good afternoon. A fellow calling in Camp TV this morning and saying that you all went out there and speaking to the people without no public address system. I want to know if that is true.
When and where? When and where? Can you confirm?
Huh?
When and where?
They said Limley Village, up the Region 6.
Those are what you call those were impromptu stops, my dear. The leader of the opposition was heading to region number 6 into New Amsterdam, and he made some stops at some villages. And at the bus stops, he was talking to persons. You don't need a public address to talk to 15 people. Understood?
Oh, because it's at Limley, Mr. Ford has to be raising his voice so hard nobody can even.
Who's Mr. Ford? Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. This was on Sunday. Well, I wasn't at those meetings, so I can't confirm or deny what you're saying here. But I know I was with the leader of the opposition, and when he made some impromptu stops. But if that is so, that's something that needs to be fixed. Of course.
Well, let's still try and get things together, because it seems as though the people are saying that you can't even buy a public address system.
But that makes little sense. And let's not get into that. I just showed a video at Anna Regina. Sorry, at the video that I showed was from New Amsterdam, where we clearly had public address system. And of course, you have 15 meetings going on around that region at the same time on Sunday. Not one meeting, 15 meetings. And these public
and get this in order.
But things are in order, my dear. I don't think public address system is an issue. Come on. Oh. All right then. Thank you. I know people are concerned about different things, but public address systems are there. Maybe there was some technical issue happening at that particular location on Sunday. But remember, there are about 15 to 18 meetings happening around the region on Sunday. Again, you can call the number. You can message us. Let us know what is happening in your region. But to the caller, thank you very much for highlighting that issue. If it is an issue, we'll definitely look at it and fix it the next time, because we want people to know what we're saying. And if it is that we need a public address system in that particular village, even if we have to ensure that one goes there when we are not there, we will ensure that happens. So thank you very much for that. Right. I'll carry this session on for about 9 more minutes as we head up to the 7 o'clock hour. It is 6:51 at this point in time. So we'll give you about a few more minutes if you want to share something with us. Have your say this afternoon. Have your say. The floor is yours. Persons are sending pictures. Persons are sending videos. You can WhatsApp us on that number. We want to communicate with you. We here at The Rush want you to tell us what is happening in your community so we can bring it out to the public. We can air it for you. We want to give you a voice, right? The young lady in Lane Avenue, I know the counselor for that area. I'm going to be giving her a call. I will ensure that the mayor knows about this also, and our the parliamentary representative for the region, for that particular area, will be given this information too. So this is what we want, people. We want you to be able to communicate with us. Right, have your say this afternoon. Phone lines will be open for a few more minutes as we conclude our program. Remember, we are still in a pandemic. We are still faced with flooding. We want you to ensure that you follow these rules.
Weather predictions can sometimes be inaccurate, but we do know that even heavy rain falling over a short period usually results in flooding.
We need to be prepared at all times for extreme weather and floods.
Always keep strong water boots for each family member. Keep your drinking water safe. Keep a supply of non-perishable foods enough for the whole family for at least 3 days.
Pack an emergency kit with all medicines and first aid supplies, toiletries, change of clothes, towels, soap, and other personal supplies. Be ready to move to your safe center when advised by the CDC or your regional and community leaders.
Listen to your radio for the alert messages.
The CDC will help you to stay safe.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
Right, we're back with Javier Say this afternoon. We have another caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to The Rush. Javier Say.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm calling to the police.
Police.
The people them would bring like meat, right? All the Negro people were bringing meat.
Mm-hmm.
They're stopping them and taking share Indians now to bring meat to the police force.
The police force. This is a supply of meat to the police force.
Yes, the meat, chicken and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And pork and stuff. The Negro people that we bring in, they're trying now to they're cutting them off and taking share Indians to bring the meat now.
Okay, so
there's the new thing they're coming up with now, right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, so obviously we have an issue there. And folks, these are the things that we're seeing around the region. Right? We see persons favoring a particular set of people, whether it be their friends, whether it be their family, but we're dealing with this around the country, around all of the regions. Right, let me just make the note. We'll definitely get people on this. Right. Have you say this afternoon? I am happy and extremely happy to have this particular segment because I always want to know what people are thinking. I know people are always in the comment section giving their comments this afternoon from all across the country, watching from Essequibo all over. Folks, let us continue. Let's continue to work for national development. We are going to try and do this segment probably. I realize that we might have to do it on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where you can call and have your say. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at the end of the program, you can call and have your say. The number is 618-7321, 618-7321. If you don't want to call us now, message us, WhatsApp us on that same number. Give us your information. If you have any issues in your community, let us know. We will bring some light to it. Thank you very much this afternoon for staying tuned. We are going to be, of course, sharing what is happening in Parliament because Parliament has reconvened. I think we have one more caller before we go. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to The Rush. Have your say.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Randolph?
Speaking.
Randolph, I think if we're not talking, man, we need to do take another action over it.
We need to take some more action.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Yes, my brother. Enough is enough. No, too much. I mean, like that valid information you have at the Parliament and get, but enough is enough. Time that we hit the street or something. The opposition needs to do something about it.
Well, I'm sure that he is hearing these messages. I'm going to relay, of course, what the people are saying to him to ensure that this message goes across, that people are demanding action.
Exactly.
Right.
Too much going on. It's overbearing or it's running over Randolph.
I understand. Thanks for
listening.
Good man. Right. Folks, I'm going to pass the information on. I'm going to let those powers that be know what the people are calling for. And we thank you very much for having your say this afternoon. Thank you very much. I think we have one other caller. This person is calling from WhatsApp. We'll make this our last call this afternoon. We'll make this our final call this afternoon. Caller. Oh boy. I think we lost that caller. If you are hearing us, caller, you can dial us again. You can dial us again. So let me just head into the WhatsApp and see if anybody is there. We have any comments before we go this afternoon. Folks, the hundreds of you are watching, we thank you very much for being a part of the program today. We thank you very, very much for being a part of the program today. Let's continue. Send your messages, send your comments to the WhatsApp number. I think the person is calling again. Let's take the call. All right. Caller, good afternoon.
Hello, good night.
Welcome to The Rush and have your say.
Yeah, I just want to let Guyanese people know that COVID is surreal. The other day I come to Barbados airport, and Guyanese come with injection with a book, but the people them don't accept certain injection, and the Guyanese people, the Guyanese government have to let these people know what injection they have to take.
So you're saying,
because when it comes to
wait, hold on. You're telling me, that Barbados is not accepting certain vaccines? That's your experience?
Certain vaccines. Yes, right now in Barbados, they're accepting certain injections. So they have to let the Guyanese people know what vaccine they have to take.
Okay, well that's good information. Yes. That's good information for the public. Well, they have the right, of course. They make their own policy. They know what vaccines they're accepting in their country.
Take for example, yesterday Barbados recorded 0 COVID. Today is just 1 COVID they had again. If you come, you have to self-quarantine in a hotel. You have to pay your own hotel bill. They send you home that could mix with somebody or so. You have to go. You have to get a facility that you have. So COVID is real, and these people taking it very serious.
Yeah.
Guyana, I know what they're doing.
Well,
yeah.
We need to take it serious. And thank you very much, caller.
Thank you.
Right. And we've been saying this from the beginning when the PPP came into power, when they were fraudulently installed on August the 2nd. They rolled back those restrictions. They pushed back the curfew. They publicly came out and said, we can't keep people in the house. This is what they said. And people, we can't quarantine people all the time. People, the economy has to open. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to The Rush. Have your say.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Critchlow.
Good night.
About this COVID thing. If Guyana had continued the way how APNU had us with the curfew and this place closed down, we would not have had this rise in COVID.
Yeah.
Because when COVID first started, you're traveling on the minibus used to get half the amount of persons. Likewise, the cruise ship were crossing the river.
Yeah.
And when they open up back those things, the drivers and the buses, the speedboat operators, they were annoyed. And with all COVID keep increasing, Guyana is not shutting down this country.
Yeah.
Imagine in England, they have extended their close down till in July before they're going to decide to open up. But now, so we now are left at the blunt. Because you can't sit down home and don't go nowhere. You got to travel in the crowded minibuses. You got to travel in the crowded boats because you ain't got the money to take a taxi to go to town like how I live on the West Coast. I can't afford a taxi.
Yeah. I went in the boat the other day and the boats are packed.
Yes. Ram packed. And then, well, the speedboat, you can't get on the speedboat without a mask.
Yeah.
But in the minibuses with them small porthole windows, people are traveling in them without masks.
Yes.
And you can't like object because you ain't know who got gun, who got left fire, who got knife to stab you. So you got to sit down and hold your mouth and travel.
Yeah, quite sad. Quite sad. Thank you, caller, for your say this afternoon.
All right.
Right.
All right, thanks. All right.
Folks, this is what we see. I said it. I said it after we saw the increases when we were at 200. The APNU AFC held a candlelight vigil for those persons who lost their lives at 200 at the Promenade Gardens. And we said it due to the relaxing of those measures put in place by Minister of Health Valda Lawrence, Minister of Public Health Valda Lawrence, and the APNU AFC government. It was stricter measures. They relax everything. Fraudulent vice president came on the thing and said we can't lock people in the house all the time. The economy got open. Cases of sleeping hotel, holding big parties. And if you relax the curfew, you push the curfew back, you tell people all these things, we're going to do soft enforcement. People are going to behave in that manner because people are irresponsible. We know that many persons are irresponsible, and you have to put measures in place to curb that. This is why you get charged for not wearing your seatbelt, and people still don't wear the seatbelt because many persons are irresponsible. That's a reality. So the seatbelt law is there to help protect them. And those measures were in place to protect the citizens. No, but you roll them back. Now you're in Parliament. Priya Manichanda sit down in Parliament typing stupidness on your Facebook post. When they were the people to relax the COVID measures. This is the bad faith politics, the hypocritical politics that we see in Guyana. Folks, let me sign off today. Let me sign off. Before we go, as we're talking about COVID, let's remember our comrade, our fallen comrade, Mr. Douglas Gittins, who passed yesterday, COVID-19. We want to say to his friends and family that you are in our thoughts, you are in our prayers, and we grieve with you at this moment. His political family, we grieve with you at this moment, at this sad time in your and our lives as we lose a brother and a comrade. We thank him for his service. We thank him for his service to the community, his service to the country and the people of Guyana. And of course, he will not be forgotten. Mr. Douglas Gittins. Thank you very much, folks, for joining us this afternoon. My name is Randolph Critchell. Let's continue to work for national development. As I always say, keep yourself safe. If you and your family safe this afternoon as we sign off this evening, do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye for now.